I'll tell you a story you'll never forget. A story about you and your cigarette. Enjoy smoother smoking, choose wisely, choose well. Smoke longer and finer and milder pell-mell. Pell-mell, 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 pell-mell. Smoke longer and finer and milder pell-mell.
Hi there, it's me again, your social scientist. Today I want to talk about the time when everyone believed smoking was good for you. Now we know that tobacco is one of the deadliest products on the planet, responsible for millions of deaths yearly. But how did we go from good to bad? How did a product so harmful to our health become so popular and widespread? Well, it's a long and sordid story, full of lies, cover-ups, and deception. So, let's dive into when smoking was good for you. It all started in the early 20th century, when tobacco was marketed as a symbol of masculinity and virility. Cigarette companies portrayed smoking as a way to assert manliness and toughness, and men everywhere fell for it. But the tobacco industry soon realized they were missing out on a whole market: women. So, they launched a campaign to convince women that smoking was not only fashionable, but also slimming. That's right, women smoking would make you cool and help you lose weight. Cigarette ads from the 1920s and 30s show slender, glamorous women holding cigarettes, with slogans like, "Reach for a lucky instead of a sweet," and "A cigarette at work helps concentrate the mind." The tobacco industry sponsored fashion shows and beauty pageants, creating a connection between smoking and sophistication. So they promoted the idea that smoking was better for you than sweets and good for your mental health. But it wasn't just fashion and beauty that the tobacco industry targeted. They also turned to doctors to promote their products. Yes, doctors. Believe it or not, there was a time when smoking was actually recommended by medical professionals. In the 1920s, the tobacco industry began to fund research into the health effects of smoking. Surprise, surprise, the results were positive. Or so they claimed.
A responsible consulting organization reports this study by a competent medical specialist and his staff on the effects of smoking Chesterfields. A group of people smoked only Chesterfields for 6 months in their normal amount, 10 to 40 a day. 45% of the group have smoked Chesterfields from 1 to 30 years for an average of 10 years each. At the beginning and end of the 6 months period, each smoker was given a thorough examination, including x-rays. The examination covered the sinuses, nose, ears, and throat. After a thorough examination of every member of the group, the medical specialist stated, "It is my opinion that the ears, nose, throat, and accessory organs of all participating subjects examined by me were not adversely affected in the 6 months period by smoking the cigarettes provided." Remember this report and buy Chesterfields.
The industry-funded studies concluded that smoking was not only harmless, but was good for you. Tobacco companies then used these studies to convince doctors to endorse smoking as a way to alleviate stress and anxiety. It wasn't until the 1950s and 60s that the tide began to turn against smoking. In 1952, British researchers published a study linking smoking and lung cancer. This was followed by a groundbreaking report by the United States Surgeon General in 1964, which confirmed the link between smoking and lung cancer and other health problems. But even as the evidence mounted against smoking, the tobacco industry continued to deny the health risks and push its products on consumers. They funded their own research to produce biased results that downplayed the dangers of smoking. They even went so far as to produce fake research and lobby governments to prevent them from passing regulations that would hurt their profits. Meanwhile, Hollywood played a significant role in promoting smoking. Movie stars like Humphrey Bogart and James Dean were often seen with a cigarette in hand, creating an association between smoking and coolness. Cigarette brands even paid to have their products featured in movies and TV shows. In fact, there was a time when doctors, celebrities, and even athletes all endorsed smoking. Baseball legend Babe Ruth was a heavy smoker who appeared in cigarette ads. The iconic Marlboro Man, who graced billboards and magazine ads throughout the 20th century, was the epitome of rugged masculinity. But even as the dangers of smoking became more widely known, the tobacco industry had to find new ways to market its products. Enter vaping, a new trend that has taken the world by storm. Vapes were initially marketed as a safer alternative to smoking, but the truth is that they are just as harmful, if not more so. Vapes contain high levels of nicotine, which can cause addiction and harm young people's developing brains. And yet, vaping companies continue to target young people with fruity flavors and sleek designs. creating a new generation of addicts. The tobacco industry has faced numerous lawsuits and legal challenges over the years, but they continue to fight tooth and nail to protect their profits. In 1998, a landmark settlement was reached between major tobacco companies and the U.S. government. The companies agreed to pay billions of dollars in damages to states and individuals affected by smoking-related illnesses, but the fight is far from over. So, there you have it, the history of tobacco, a tale of greed, deception, and the undeniable allure of a deadly habit. Once upon a time, smoking was seen as glamorous, sophisticated, and healthy. Doctors and celebrities touted the benefits of lighting up, and the tobacco industry reaped the profits. But as the years went by, the truth began to emerge. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, and a host of other health problems. The tobacco industry tried to cover it up, but the evidence was too overwhelming to ignore. And now, as we face a new threat in the form of vaping, we must stay vigilant and continue the fight for our health and well-being. So let's put down our cigarettes and vapes and raise up a cold can of Coke. Wait a second. Didn't Coke start off as a medicinal drink? Hold up. You'll have to watch my next video on how Coke brainwashed a whole generation. And as Murray Gell-Mann once said, the hallmark of successful education is not answers but questions. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.